Just a sec. So Miriam Sweeney is an artist and a friend. We bought a large map of San Francisco just over a year ago, and it's now the first piece of art you see upon entering our house. My wife and I love Miriam's work, but we also love her energy and the stories that she tells about her work. And in her words, my work explores the urban landscape that sits somewhere between order and chaos, structure and collapse, expression and control. I paint playful, textured, curvilinear shapes to capture the city streets, buildings, landmarks, the droning sounds of traffic, the clouds of smoke flowing out of ventilation shafts, the chitter-chatter of its cast of characters. The city is one giant animated organism. It is a place of authentic connections, emotional places, and their unique stories. So thank you so much for coming, Miriam.
Good afternoon, and thank you to the Map Society of California, and especially to Tom Paper. Can you hear me? Yes. For this kind invitation to share my story with you today, and I'm really honored to be here. Thank you again. My name is Miriam Sweeney, and I want to tell you about an unexpected journey that began 4 years ago, right when I thought my life was already mapped out. Life hit me with two big disruptions at once: a devastating health diagnosis and becoming empty nesters. Suddenly, my husband and I were navigating this completely new phase of life while grappling with fear and anxiety that would often paralyze me. In those dark moments, when everything felt so uncertain, I felt myself drawn back to our most joyful years, when we were raising our boys in San Francisco. Those years were pure joy, filled with adventures and milestones. The city had been our playground. It was where we built our cherished memories and lasting friendships. So I did what felt intuitive. I pulled out paper maps of San Francisco, and started retracing our family's footsteps. I marked our different homes, the parks where the boys played Little League, neighborhoods where our community grew, restaurants where we celebrated big moments. And in a way, I was actually connecting the dots and retracing our story one landmark at a time. And what started as this simple mapping exercise has become the map art I create today. Through this work, I discovered that making art is my healing. It was my way to work through my anxiety and my fears that came with the diagnosis. I found this whole new way to express myself, and also to realize that through map art, I could actually relive and preserve those precious memories. Oh, sorry, how do I? There we go, okay, thank you. Okay, so my process begins with creating a graph plot directly on the canvas. Through careful digital exploration using Apple Maps, I chart the city blocks one by one, mapping each section to establish the structural foundation of the piece. This digital cartography becomes the blueprint that guides my physical composition. From this map framework, I move into the painting process using my own mixture of acrylic inks and mediums. Working with this mixture of soft body acrylics, I build each surface through countless layers, sometimes 30 to 40 coats, creating depth, texture, and a subtle sculptural quality that brings each piece to life. What emerges is a curvy linear tile-like interpretation of a city map, dimensional and luminous, where painting, mapping, and relief converge into something entirely new. Each map art is an aerial view. Each tile reveals itself as a street block, a building, a landmark. And from this aerial perspective, the tiles emerge like puzzle pieces, fitting together perfectly. The city becomes one animated, dynamic organism, alive and breathing. This process moves painfully slow, demanding a meditative rhythm that has become my favorite part of the work. And each tile becomes a prayer bead, a meditation and excavation, creation and recovery, all woven into one single brushstroke. When I'm painting these cityscapes, I see this living organism of human connection. Every brushstroke represents someone's daily routine, their path to work, their weekend ritual. What I've discovered about map art goes far beyond my own healing. It's that everyone sees their own stories in these painted places. And that's exactly why it resonates so deeply. A map holds so many different stories, all layered over time, generations of families walking the same streets, different ages and backgrounds, all finding their place in the same geography and landscape. The grandmother, who's known every shopkeeper for decades, sees her story. The teenager discovering independence sees theirs. The young family building new traditions sees theirs too. And when collectors look at the same maps, they see their own version of that story. Each piece becomes this repository of human experience. One person spots the corner where they had their first kiss. Another recognizes the shortcut they've taken for 20 years. Someone else sees the park where they taught their kids to ride bikes. And all of these individual stories exist simultaneously in one painted place. And that's the magic of maps as art. They're not just showing you geography, they're showing you the invisible threads that connect us all to a place. Those bonds you earn by living somewhere, by being part of the daily rhythm that makes a neighborhood alive. And those connections that don't show up on official maps, but are as real as any, property deed. When people take my work home, they're not just buying art. They're buying a mirror that reflects their own experience while simultaneously holding space for everyone else's stories. And especially today, when belonging feels increasingly fragile, these maps preserve something essential. The truth that every place is made up of all of us, all of our stories and all of our memories layered together across time. And that's what draws me to map art. It manages to be so deeply personal, yet so universal, holding vast human stories all at once. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you so much. I'm sorry we don't have time for questions, but Miriam will be here after lunch or during lunch.